One moment I was proposing to the most beautiful girl in college. The next I woke up 5 years later. My kid is already 4 years old. I couldn't help feeling smug. Looks like my proposal was successful. But then I found wedding photos I'd cut up and thrown in a drawer. When I pieced them together, I discovered my wife wasn't the campus beauty queen, but her. One moment I was lost in the nervous excitement of proposing to Jessica Miller, the campus beauty queen. I'd handed her flowers, dropped to one knee, and was waiting for her to say yes. The next moment, I woke up in a luxury penthouse in downtown Manhattan. I stared at the elegant decor and exquisite furnishings, felt the silk pajamas on my skin and the mulberry silk bedding. I was completely confused. What was going on? Before I could figure out, the door burst open and a small child who looked like me, but much cuter, came charging like a cannonball. He jumped onto the bed and hugged me. Daddy, you're finally awake. You've been sleeping for 2 days. Get up and play with me. I stared at this child in disbelief. I had a kid? With whom? Thinking about how I'd just been proposing to Jessica. Could it be that my proposal had succeeded had I married Jessica and had a child with her? Trying to stay calm, I lifted the child off me and asked, I'm still feeling a bit unwell. Where's your mom? Mom's on a business trip. She's been gone for several days. I wanted to ask more about his mother, but was interrupted by the nanny who suddenly entered. Sir, I'm sorry. I'll take him away right now. She took the child's hand and said softly, Ethan, you haven't finished the tasks your mom assigned. Let's go complete them. All right. I love mom the most. I can't make her angry. Daddy, I'm going to study now. I'll come play with you later. With that, he obediently left. Once the nanny and child had gone, I quickly got out of bed and started searching for anything that might explain my current situation. I opened the closet to find neatly arranged clothes. Women's on one side, men's on the other. The style and colors of the men's clothes were exactly what I liked. In a master bathroom, there were both men's and women's toiletries. It seemed my wife and I had a sweet relationship. Many items were matching couple sets. I pulled open drawers containing underwear, socks, and bras. Judging by the bra size, I was quite pleased. My wife apparently had a great figure. I searched everywhere, but couldn't find anything useful. Everything seemed to match my aesthetic preferences, but something felt strange, though I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Turning around, I noticed something flashing under the pillow. I lifted it to find a smartphone. It was a model I'd never seen before and didn't recognize. I swiped it open, and facial recognition unlocked it. Apparently, it was my phone. Looking through the contents, I noticed something odd. I didn't seem to have many friends or much of social life. The messaging app showed barely anyone talking to me. Just about 15 contacts sitting there silently. No useful text messages either, just notifications and nothing else. The call log was equally empty. Suddenly, I spotted a familiar name. Jason Stewart, nicknamed J Stu, because as he always said, when 3 walk together, 1 becomes my teacher. He was my lifelong buddy, close enough that we could share clothes and trust each other completely when gaming. I immediately picked up the phone and called him, but he didn't answer, or rather, he hung up on me. I was shocked. Had we had a falling out over these past few years? I persistently called J Stu over and over, and finally, just as I was about to give up, he answered. You son of a bitch, you've got some nerve calling me. What kind of crazy episode are you having now? If you're sick, go to Bellevue. Stop bothering me for no reason. I'm not your keeper. I held the phone away from my ear. This phone clearly had excellent quality because J Stu's furious voice coming through the speaker was incredibly loud and lifelike. My ear nearly went deaf. I was completely bewildered, not understanding why he was as explosive as a lit firecracker with such anger. J Stu, something major happened to me. Something huge. I can't explain over the phone. Can you come to my place? What new trick is this? Not having an episode, but playing games instead. Let me tell you, I'm not your wife who puts up with your crap every time. Get lost. J Stu, I really am in big trouble. I don't know anything anymore. I started rambling incoherently. You want to secretly see Jessica again? Brian, I'm telling you, she's nothing but a tramp. Can you stop being so pathetic? Can't you just live your normal life? J Stu somehow knew about Jessica Miller from our college. We didn't even attend the same university, and I never told him about Jessica because I was afraid he'd laugh at me if my proposal failed. But now he knew about Jessica. Clearly a lot had happened. Most importantly, from what he was saying, my wife wasn't Jessica. So who was she? Thinking about this, I looked around the bedroom again and finally realized what was strange. There were no photos anywhere. No wedding photos. No couple photos. No individual portraits. Nothing at all. Seeing my silence, J Stu seemed to grow concerned. He continued cursing and saying something. But I couldn't hear any of it anymore. I just wanted to know immediately who I had married. I don't know who hung up the phone, but as I was thinking, someone knocked on the door. "Come in." A housekeeper pushed open the door, speaking cautiously as if she was afraid of me. "Sir, would you like something to eat? You haven't eaten for 2 days." Hearing this, my stomach immediately growled loudly. Yes. Actually, I didn't feel like eating right now, but my body clearly couldn't hold out much longer. Soon, the housekeeper prepared several delicious dishes that looked, smelled, and tasted amazing. The meal was balanced with meat and vegetables, nutritionally complete, and beautifully presented. She brought it on a small cart. Most importantly, everything was exactly what I loved to eat. This seemed to indicate I was living quite well, with a nanny for the child and a housekeeper taking care of daily life. As I ate, I continued thinking about how to discreetly find out about my current situation. Suddenly the door opened again, and my son Ethan ran back in. "Daddy, you're able to get up and eat now? That's great. Mom will be so happy when she finds out." Hearing him mention Mom, I casually asked, "So where did Mom go?" "Mom went on a business trip. I just told you. Mom also said she'd bring me back a present." "Is that so? When is Mom coming back?" "I don't know. Mom said in 2 weeks, but I don't know how to count which day that is." Looking at the little boy furrowing his brow because he couldn't calculate the date, I continued asking, "How old are you?" "I'm 3, but I'm about to have my 4th birthday. So you can call me 4 now." "That's impressive. So young and already so smart. Let Daddy test you. Where are the photos of Daddy and Mommy?" "Daddy, weren't they all?" Before he could finish, the nanny rushed in again, interrupting Ethan's answer. "Sir, I'm sorry. It's my fault for not watching him properly. I'll take Ethan away right now." The attitude of these 2 women had been strange from the beginning, both respectful and fearful toward me. I could understand the respect, probably because I paid them well. But fear? Why would they be afraid? Was I normally difficult to deal with? Or had I been bad-tempered? After eating, I explored upstairs but didn't find anything useful. Hearing sound from downstairs, I went down. It was my son, Ethan, assembling a Lego set, but his small hands lacked strength, and many of the finer pieces wouldn't snap together. But the child was remarkably independent, preferring to press hard with his little hands until they turned red rather than ask for help. A child this independent is either born that way or shaped by their family environment. But seeing how Ethan had behaved when he came to find me earlier, he was clearly an outgoing and lively child. So the reason for the child's reluctance to ask adults for help and this independence was quite obvious. Looking at myself, I was probably the culprit. Watching Ethan, whose little face was sweating with effort, I suddenly felt heartbroken and quickly went to his side. "Wow, you're amazing. Did you build all this yourself?" "Yes." 3 or 4-year-olds are easily pleased. A couple of compliments, and he was already beaming with joy. "Can Daddy join you? I've never played with such a big Lego set before." Of course. Ethan was thrilled. He probably didn't understand why his father had suddenly changed, but who wouldn't like a change for the better? He loved this version of his dad. After building together for a while, the nanny came back upstairs. "Sir, it's time for Ethan's lessons." "I'll take him now." "Okay." It was good timing since the child was getting tired of the Lego anyway, and doing something else would be a nice break. As the child was leaving, he suddenly turned back, hugged me, and said, "Daddy, I like you the way you are now. Don't turn back into that robot daddy with no expressions." My heart sank. Was I really a man who emotionally abused his wife and child? I was supposed to be a cheerful, outgoing guy. Looks like J-Stu was right. I really might have been sick. Speak of the devil. Despite J-Stu's cursing and claims that he wouldn't look after me or trust me anymore, he was still worried about me and came over right after hanging up the phone. Looking at the man who entered, wearing gold-rimmed glasses and dressed like a successful businessman, gone was his former boyishness. Was this really the same unkempt J-Stu I knew? Had J-Stu also become a successful entrepreneur? Or had he finally decided to go home and take over the family business? I stepped forward and punched J-Stu playfully. Well, J-Stu, looking all respectable now. You've done well for yourself." J-Stu stared at me with disbelief. "Brian, you really have changed." Afraid he might say something cruder, I led J-Stu upstairs under the housekeeper's astonished gaze. I practically dragged him into the room and closed the door. "J-Stu, I'm not the current me. I'm the past me. I don't know how I got here, but in reality, I just arrived here." J-Stu frowned at my confusing, tongue-twister-like nonsense. "Brian, I didn't come here to listen to your riddles. I'm not speaking in riddles. What I mean is that I time-traveled here directly from our college graduation year. I have no memory of all these intervening years." J-Stu's frown deepened. Clearly he didn't believe what I was saying. nor did he believe such an outlandish thing could happen. Brian, what new game are you playing now? Emma is such a good wife, and you know it. Ethan is such an adorable kid. You can see that yourself. Can't you just live a normal life? Stop this nonsense. I froze. I had married my childhood crush, Emma Sullivan. Ethan was my child with Emma. Seeing my shocked expression, J. Stu seemed to start believing me. Brian, what's really going on with you? This time it wasn't a rhetorical question or doubt, but had a hint of concern. Coming back to my senses, I smiled bitterly and told J. Stu. One moment I was proposing to Jessica, had just knelt down and offered the flowers, didn't even get an answer. And the next moment I opened my eyes and was here, with a wife and a child. Now, J. Stu finally believed me, because apparently Jessica was a trigger word for my former self. Previously, just mentioning Jessica would send me into a manic episode. Now I was calmly talking about her. J. Stu actually cried. We were middle-aged men now, and two guys hugging was pretty awkward. I tried to push him away, but couldn't move him until he finished crying. He called me an idiot while telling me what had happened these past few years. That's when I learned that I really had been sick and really had been treated at Bellevue. He wasn't insulting me on the phone. It was all true. He told me that after my proposal, when I gave Jessica the flowers and necklace, she accepted, but she always dreamed of becoming a celebrity. So she only accepted because I looked like a rich, naive guy she could take advantage of. She wanted to use me as a stepping stone to achieve her celebrity dreams. Later, she used the money my family had saved for our wedding to buy followers and became a minor internet celebrity. Then she used her internet fame to try transitioning into acting, but she kept failing auditions until she slept with an assistant director of a popular TV show and got a small supporting role. However, the TV show never aired because the lead actor was involved in a drug scandal. To get more opportunities, she cheated on me with the assistant director. To prevent her past from being exposed as she became famous, she wanted to break up with me. But I refused to accept it. Even when I caught them in bed together, I still wouldn't believe it and automatically made excuses for her, convincing myself that the balding director had taken advantage of her. After hearing all this, I understood why people couldn't stand me. With that kind of love blindness, it's a miracle I was still alive. So how did I end up marrying Emma? Emma was also my childhood friend, like J. Stu. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. But Emma was always exceptional. Dance, painting, musical instruments, she excelled at everything. And she was a great student too. As kids in the neighborhood, we all got punished because of Emma. After all, she effortlessly scored 100% every time, was sweet and adorable, and everyone loved her. Having such a prodigy standing in front of us was a childhood nightmare. But undeniably, as we entered puberty and confused feelings emerged, Emma became the goddess everyone admired but couldn't reach. Even I fantasized about her becoming my girlfriend on countless nights. But there were so many guys better than me who liked her. Insecure as I was, I buried those feelings deep down and even casually acted like a big brother figure, helping her fend off those with bad intentions. I still remember the grateful looks she occasionally gave me. In my insecurity, I never interpreted that gratitude as affection. Even if it was affection, I treated it as gratitude. I knew clearly that I wasn't good enough for her. Then her father got transferred for work, and she moved away. I didn't know where she went and never saw her again. This time it was my turn to cry. Tears of joy and tears of regret. If I had known I could marry my goddess, why did I take such a roundabout path? Why so many detours? What year did I marry Emma? How did she end up marrying me? J. Stu thought for a moment, still puzzled. Who knows what kind of dumb luck you had? Supposedly you two slept together the very first day Emma came back. Ethan was probably conceived then. I stared in disbelief. That was impossible. It wasn't that I didn't believe I had such thoughts, but that I couldn't believe Emma would allow me to do that. Stop staring. That's why I said you had dumb luck. It caused quite a stir. First, Jessica broke up with you, but you refused. Then that same night, Jessica caught you and Emma in bed. She used that as an excuse to break up with you for good. Started openly dating that balding guy. I suspected there was more to the story. Maybe Jessica set it up, but when I asked you, you wouldn't say, and I was too embarrassed to ask Emma. Thankfully, it all worked out, so I didn't worry about it anymore. Later, Emma found out she was pregnant, so you two had a shotgun wedding. Emma's dad nearly beat you to death. If Emma hadn't stopped him, you might have gone to heaven early. Listening to J. Stu's account, my emotions were on a roller coaster. I smiled bitterly and asked, have I been terrible these past years? Terrible doesn't begin to cover it. You've been inhuman. I mean, you have a child and you're still making a huge fuss about wanting a divorce. I was shocked. I had married my goddess, had a child who could already talk, and I still wanted a divorce. Why? You have the nerve to ask why. We're the ones who want to know why. You had a great life, but insisted on obsessing over Jessica and that balding jerk. Were you out of your mind? Eventually, Emma noticed something was wrong and forced you to go to the hospital. Do I really have a mental illness? I was anxious. Not exactly, but you did have depression with manic episodes. Though you seem fine now. Stu, try to understand me. Since you say you're from 5 years ago, that's perfect. You haven't experienced all that mess. Be good to Emma and Ethan. Living a good life is what matters most. I don't remember when Stu left. My heart was filled with regret. I had been such a jerk, yelling at Emma and throwing things and emotionally abusing Ethan. He was so adorable. How could I have been so heartless? I wanted to make amends, to atone. So I began casually asking the nanny and housekeeper about Emma and Ethan, from their hobbies to daily routines, from personalities to moods. I wanted to know everything, to understand everything. I took over the job of taking Ethan to and from school. The school was very close, just downstairs. It was an international school. Ethan was still in preschool. Every day, I walked down early and waited in the school's reception area, waiting for the teacher to bring the children over, going through facial recognition before taking my child. It showed what an irresponsible father I had been. Even our housekeeper was in the facial recognition system, but I wasn't. If not for the housekeeper's repeated confirmation, plus authorization from Emma, who was on a business trip, I couldn't have picked up my child. I felt nothing but more guilt. Watching my child skip and jump as the teacher led him over, my heart was full of joy. Ethan was thrilled to see that it was me, not the housekeeper, picking him up today. Yay, Daddy, I saw you from far away. Thank you for picking me up, Daddy. I stroked his soft hair and held his little hand. Of course, as long as Ethan likes it. Daddy will pick you up every day. Then I'll definitely tell Mom lots of good things about you, so Mom won't avoid you anymore. I wanted to cry. I had made the marriage so terrible that even the child knew Mom was avoiding me. I was even more afraid to face Emma. Would she still be angry? Would she be angry enough to want a divorce? Back home, Ethan eagerly went to his room. His room had a camera that could connect to his mom anytime. Soon Ethan came running out. Daddy, I told Mom good things about you. Mom smiled. When Mom smiles, she's so beautiful, just like the fairy in the teacher's story. I rubbed his cheeks and smiled too. Yes, Daddy knows. Mom has always been as beautiful as a fairy. Daddy, you look good when you smile too. Ethan grinned widely. Daddy, look, don't I look good when I smile too? We're a good-looking family. Yes, Ethan is very handsome, just like Mom is beautiful. With my praise, Ethan started acting a bit shy. Daddy, since I'm so handsome, can you take a bath with me tonight and sleep with me? Of course. That evening, I kept my word. After dinner, I played with the child for a while, then took Ethan to the bathroom in his room for a bath. Daddy, are you coming in? Looking at that small bathtub, I shook my head. Daddy's too big. Your bathtub is too small for Daddy. Let's start your bath. Watching him play with his water gun, little turtle, and bubbles in the bathtub, I asked Ethan when Mom was home, did Mom help you take baths? Yes, when I was little, but now that I'm bigger, I can't be naked in front of Mom. Mom is a girl, and I'm a boy. We're different. Ethan looked up at me in confusion, as if even a child like him knew the answer to such a simple question. How could an adult like me not know? To illustrate the difference, he even stood up in the bathtub. Daddy, look, I have an elephant. Mom says she doesn't have one. Do you have one, Daddy? I laughed awkwardly and pushed Ethan back down into the water, telling him to sit properly. Yes, Daddy understands now. Ethan is so smart, you know so much. Praised, Ethan started singing while sitting in the tub, occasionally grabbing bubbles to blow. Watching the bubbles float away and land on a small towel, he suddenly seemed to remember something. Excitedly, he said, Daddy, look, this is the little towel Mom brought back for me last time she went on a business trip. It really has a little cat paw on it. See how cute? I wonder what present Mom will bring me when she comes back tomorrow. At that point, I couldn't hear anything else, just that Emma was coming back tomorrow. Early in the morning, the housekeeper was already busy preparing lunch because Emma was coming home. She was making an even more elaborate meal than usual. See how cold I must have been to Emma before. Everyone in the house knew which day she was coming back, except for my former self who didn't care. To make up for it, I decided to cook. Remembering that I'd learned Emma loved chicken soup with barley and mushrooms, I specifically asked the housekeeper how to make it. I took out a small pot and started preparing the ingredients one by one. First, I simmered chicken to make a clear broth, then strained it to keep only the clear soup base. Next, I added pre-soaked barley, dried cranberries, and other ingredients to simmer slowly. Finally, I put in the rehydrated shiitake mushrooms and continued to cook. I cooked it until the mushrooms released all their flavor. Soon it was noon, and a light rain began to fall. I even thought about going to pick up Emma, but I didn't know what time her flight was arriving, which airport she was coming into, or which terminal she'd exit from. I shook my head. The idea seemed ridiculous now that I thought about it. Ethan's muffled giggling interrupted our embrace. Emma blushed and went to the bedroom to change her clothes, while I pretended nothing had happened and returned to the dining table, ladling soup into everyone's bowls. When Emma sat down, I quickly pushed a bowl toward her, giving the housekeeper a pleading look. The housekeeper smiled, understanding immediately. "Ma'am, please try this soup. The sir made it especially for you. He spent the entire morning on it." I was like a puppy seeking approval from its owner, head lifted but not daring to look directly at her, my expression proud yet hesitant, as if seeking praise but afraid to ask. If I had a tail, it would probably be wagging furiously right now. Emma smiled, lifting the bowl and taking a small sip. Whether from the heat or emotion, the corners of her eyes reddened. Ethan took a sip too and loudly proclaimed, "Daddy's soup is delicious. It's the best soup I've ever had. Truly my son." I nodded approvingly and stroked his hair. The dining room atmosphere grew quiet again, with Ethan looking back and forth between me and his mother. He seemed to be evaluating something, brewing something in his mind. Ethan finished his meal quickly, but lingered, reluctant to leave. Emma asked gently, "Ethan, what is it? Is there something else?" Ethan looked a bit shy, lowering his head and fidgeting with his fingers. "Mom, can I sleep with you and Daddy tonight? All the other kids at school have done it, but I never have." Hearing this made my heart ache again. I've been such a jerk before, so unfair to my child. Emma smiled. "Ethan, sweetie, when Daddy gets better, we'll definitely let you sleep in the middle. I have to go back to the office for a meeting this afternoon. I should get going." It seemed like she was explaining to me, but it felt more like she was avoiding me. After Emma left, my heart grew even more anxious. Earlier, while opening a box in a walk-in closet, I had accidentally discovered the wedding photos I'd torn to pieces. I suspected Emma had reached her limit, and I feared she might say the word divorce. Feeling desperate, I called J. Stu again, my voice sounding pathetic and defeated. "J. Stu, do you think Emma will divorce me?" Mockery came through from the other end. "Look at you now. Weren't you the one constantly demanding a divorce from Emma before? Why are you scared now?" I was shocked. I was the one who wanted the divorce. "You'd better hurry up and beg Emma for forgiveness. After all, you haven't managed the company for years now, and everything you eat and use comes from Emma's earnings. Without Emma, you'll have nothing." I wanted to cry, realizing how far behind Emma I had fallen. Thinking this way made me start sobbing, and the voice on the other end seemed exasperated. "Brian, has your brain really turned to mush? You've been this miserable for years now. If Emma didn't love you, wouldn't she have kicked you to the curb long ago?" I froze, unable to believe it. "She loves me. She's loved you since before she moved away as a kid. Only a blockhead like you would keep calling her little sister. Sister, my foot. You know, you two should actually thank that tramp, Jessica. Otherwise, with you being so dense and Emma being so proud, who knows if you two would ever have gotten together in this lifetime. You really lucked out. Fools really do have fool's luck. By the way, Jessica and that balding jerk are getting married this Saturday afternoon at the Grand Plaza. Are you going? Doesn't he already have a wife? Jessica made such a scene that he divorced her. Apparently, she threatened to expose him to the tabloids if he didn't marry her. The balding jerk got scared. All right, I'll go check it out. I want to see what's been going on with me these past few years. On Saturday, I nervously told Emma that I was going to Jessica's wedding and asked if she wanted to come. The moment I mentioned Jessica's name, I noticed Emma's expression change. There was both hurt and resignation in her eyes. I quickly explained, "I'm not going to cause trouble. I just want to see what kind of mental fog I've been in these past few years. How I could have been so confused." Emma lowered her head and said softly, "Okay." I wasn't sure she believed me. "Will you come?" I asked, clinging to a thread of hope. "I can't. I have a meeting that day, and I don't know how long it will run." "Oh, all right. Take care of yourself." Lately, with my deliberate efforts to improve things, my relationship with Emma had been gradually getting better. At least we weren't sitting in silence anymore. But today seemed to have set us back to square one. I silently regretted my decision. Damn, I should have just skipped the wedding. Would it seem suspicious if I changed my mind now? Since my driving skills were pretty rusty, I didn't dare drive. Instead, I took an Uber straight to the Grand Plaza. As soon as I entered the hall, I saw enormous wedding photos displayed prominently at the entrance. A fat, balding man and an artificially enhanced woman with a trashy vibe. I wanted to slap myself. I must have been blind before. How could I have been obsessed with a woman like that? When Jessica saw me enter, She immediately went on the defensive. What are you doing here? We broke up. Today is my special day. You're not planning to crash my wedding, are you? I snorted with derision. Are you made of gold or diamonds? Why would I want you back? I should be thanking you for letting me go. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be living such a happy, fulfilling life with my wife now. You're insane. If you're having an episode, go back to Bellevue. Don't make a scene here. My husband is a famous director, a successful man. He could crush you with one finger. Oh, really? Then ask him to come over and crush me. Before I could finish, the balding fat man walked over with his entourage. Jessica, darling, who's this? One of his toadies immediately chimed in. Director Wilson, this is that poor loser who was obsessed with your wife. The one who was so desperate he ended up in the psych ward. Oh, so this is the mental case? What, did they let you out of the hospital? Are you cured now? Look at him, so pathetic. I saw him arrive in an Uber. A man his age who can't even afford a car. What a loser. I heard he used to be a good student. Guess he studied himself stupid. Maybe mental illness is curable, but being poor isn't. He's probably just here showing off, thinking he can cure himself by acting tough. Ha ha ha. The group erupted in laughter, trying to make me feel embarrassed and humiliated. I smirked, not bothering to explain, and picked up a glass of champagne from the reception table. I'm doing just fine, so don't worry about me. Maybe you all should hurry to a hospital to get your noses checked. You look human, but can't tell the difference between what stinks and what smells good. Keep talking tough. You probably don't even have $200 in your pocket. All you've got left is your big mouth. Ha ha ha. If you kneel down right now and kowtow to Director Wilson, he might arrange some work for you. Enough to keep you fed for a while. That's right, just bow down, and I'll let you hand out lunchboxes on my set. It pays $3,000 a month. After the balding man finished speaking, another round of sycophantic praise erupted from the crowd. Some even more clueless person actually praised Jessica for having the foresight to dump me, so she could end up with Director Wilson. I glanced at that person. Don't worry about me. My wife can support me just fine. Ah, kept man. So you really are living off someone else. I bet your wife makes her money by sell. Before the jerk could finish, a sweet honey interrupted and drew everyone's attention to the entrance. A stunningly elegant beauty appeared at the door. It was Emma, amid a chorus of holy shit. Who's that? I jogged over to escort Emma. Today she wore a fire-red, high-slit evening gown, form-fitting and elegant, showcasing her perfect figure. The fiery red color made her skin glow like warm ivory. On her feet were slender high heels that made her look tall and confident. Emma smiled as I approached, gracefully taking my arm and saying sweetly, "Honey." The entire room was stunned into silence. Even Director Wilson abandoned his new bride Jessica and walked over to try to chat up Emma. He even smoothed his few remaining hairs and adjusted his tie. "Hello, beautiful. I'm the director at Starpath Studios. Would you be interested in making a movie? I guarantee you'll become a star." "I'm not interested. Thank you. Honey, it's stuffy in here. Let's go home." Sure. I was more than ready to leave. I'd only come to see this and put my past self to rest. Behind us, the balding man persisted. "Please consider it beautiful. This guy is just a broke loser. He's mentally ill. Don't let him fool you. He has nothing but his face." Emma turned back with a seductive smile. "I happen to like his face. I'm happy to support him." As soon as she finished speaking, a top-of-the-line luxury car pulled up at the entrance, and the driver ran over to open the door. "Ma'am, sir, please get in." Leaving behind a group of people looking like they'd swallowed flies, we made our stylish exit. In the car, I held Emma's hand tightly, not letting go. There was no one else here, and the driver had raised the privacy partition. I wanted to tell Emma everything. Before I could continue, Emma interrupted me, her eyes reddening. "Brian, I won't agree to a divorce, so get that out of your head." I was stunned. I didn't want a divorce. "Emma, I don't want a divorce. Even if you kick me out, I won't leave." Now, it was Emma's turn to be surprised. The tear at the corner of her eye froze in place. I raised my hand and gently wiped away that tear, then slowly explained everything. After hearing me out, Emma was astonished. "No wonder you've been different since that day. This is so much better." I gently embraced Emma, and on behalf of both my current and former self, I solemnly said to her, "I'm sorry. Since clearing things up, life got better with each passing day." Emma began gradually stepping back from work to focus more on family, but the company still needed managing, so I had to roll up my sleeves and get to work. One day, while I was helping Emma organize meeting documents, I heard a commotion from the reception area. I had an appointment with Mrs. Thompson. I'm a representative from Starpath Studios. I'm here to discuss a collaboration. I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson isn't available. Make a call. Just make a call and ask. I really did have an appointment. This collaboration is extremely important. It involves the production of a major film project. If it's delayed, you'll be held responsible. Well, I walked over to see what was happening and discovered it was the balding director who had cheated with Jessica. Seeing me, the balding man started acting smug. Well, not living off your wife anymore. Working here now. I know your boss, Mrs. Thompson. If you convince your wife to work with me, I might put in a good word for you. The young receptionist was stunned by his words. When she recovered, she quickly said, Mr. Thompson, I'll call security right away to remove this person. I knew there was a production company looking for investment recently, and I had been considering putting in some extra money to try it out. But now that I knew it was this guy's project, I decided against it. We'd probably lose everything down to our last penny. Good. I turned to leave. Hey, what kind of treatment is this for an important client? I know your boss, Mrs. Thompson. Security escorted the balding man out, complaining as they went. You big idiot, acting all high and mighty. You claim to know Mrs. Thompson? Don't you know Mrs. Thompson is our Mr. Thompson's wife? Finally, peace and quiet returned. Later, the receptionist reported that without investors, the production was shut down and the balding director was fired. When Jessica saw that he was finished, she immediately left him for another wealthy man. But whatever happened afterward had nothing to do with me anymore. I was no longer the person I used to be. When Ethan started first grade, Emma became pregnant with our second child. After a checkup at the hospital, we discovered she was carrying twins. To be extra cautious, I decided to hire another nanny specifically to take care of Emma's daily needs and ensure her safety. Jessica somehow heard about this news and actually applied for the position through a housekeeping agency. Looking at her face, clearly showing the signs of a hard life and appearing at least 10 years older, I felt nothing but disgust. Yet there she was, posturing and preening, thinking she was still attractive. Sir, isn't your wife pregnant? I can take care of you while she can't, she said, batting her eyelashes at me. I didn't want to say a single word to her, feeling like I might throw up if I spoke even one syllable. I called the building management and asked them to send the nearest security guard to remove this woman. I never want to see this face in this building again. Jessica began struggling and screaming. As she was being dragged away, she shouted, It's me, Brian. It's Jessica. The commotion was so loud that it woke Emma and Ethan, who had been napping upstairs. Honey, what's going on? Emma asked. Yeah, Dad, what happened? It's so noisy. Ethan added. Nothing, just some crazy person who wandered in. Security is taking care of it. The two rubbed their eyes, unable to go back to sleep, so they decided to sit in the sunroom and chat. Honey, do you think they're boys or girls? Or maybe one of each? Emma asked, touching her belly. I'll love them either way. As long as they're yours, I'll love them. What about you, Ethan? I want a little brother and a little sister. The brother can play soccer with Dad and me, and the sister can go shopping with Mom. That way, none of us will ever be bored. Ha ha ha. Looking at the mother and son bathed in soft sunlight, both glowing, I realized how incredibly lucky I was in this life, to suddenly have two treasures. No, with the two in her belly, I would have 4 treasures. Life was as bright as sunshine. Happiness flowed through our laughter. Everything was just perfect.